All right, we're gonna get this call kicked off. Trying some going through some technical issues with the audio, being able to hear people through the Google Meets, but I will figure that out in the next 24 hours, and we should have this up and going for Sunday's call here. But sharing my screen, we're going to go over what we kind of had happen this week. We ended up taking some losses on a few pairs. We'll go to account history. Beginning of the week was the 26th. Let's go ahead and sort that. And then, so we took a loss here on Euro USD. And then we also took a loss on NZD USD. So 1% loss, roughly. 1% loss here. Let's see, 10. Yeah, roughly about a 1% loss for Euro USD and roughly a 1% loss here for NZD USD. We have seen those kind of reverse back into our favor a little bit. And same thing with gold, right? Gold is actually would have been into some nice profit at that point in time. But we saw the dollar strength really pull through this weekend. It was pretty significant move up to that weekly 200 MA. Is the move that we saw here on DXY, right? We saw a move up to that weekly resistance. I did speak about this in my previous calls, actually like 5 weeks ago. We talked about this potentially being a case where, right, we were in a consolidation phase back here a couple weeks, right? This is the weekly time frame. We saw some consolidation here. XK was indicating that we could see a potential move to the upside. I pointed out that we were going to come up and maybe potentially test that weekly resistance, which is also that weekly 200 MA. And that is exactly what we have seen play out here. So seeing as this week actually came up, tested the weekly resistance and has rejected and now has closed this weekly candlestick of quite weak, which is a good sign that this was potentially the top here. We may come back up to that weekly resistance at 94.481 next week, but as of right now, I'm anticipating that to be the top of DXY. We should begin to see some of the stimulus being passed, right? Debt ceiling being raised should provide some negative news for DXY, aka the dollar, and we should be able to see this start to scale down here back to this weekly support, which obviously would be good for stock market, which is going to be good for gold and silver as well, right? Going over that gold position, we got stopped out here. I did use my riskier stop loss, so for those people that wanted to play it a little more riskier, you could have used the bigger stop loss down there at 16.49, but I ended up personally using our stop loss here at 17.25. We literally just came down, knocked out that stop loss, took a 1% hit. I would be looking to scale back into some gold long positions next week, so be tuned. On Sunday we'll probably enter in some live positions on Sunday with some buy limits here on gold to get back in, because I think that dollar has finally reached its pivot point on that. So we should begin to see this bullish trend really take off here for the remainder of the year, and potentially going into the new year with gold prices being in the potential, I would say probably high 1900s by the time the end of this year comes, I think is something that we could be reaching. And then new all-time highs is something I'm thinking right around probably March area of a 2022. So longer term view on gold, looking to scale into some longer positions next week. We also took, right, that loss on Euro USD, right, came right down to my stop loss, looking like my stop loss is holding as a very nice little support here. So maybe we'll take a second attempt at this next week, but more than likely not. More than likely not going to do that. We'll probably put our weight somewhere else, like on cryptos. But potential setup for next week, we'd be looking to get long and using a tight stop loss on Euro USD. And then lastly, we took a L on NZD USD, right? We had these buy limits get triggered. We're all closed out of those now. But we set our stop loss for a riskier stop loss again, right? And that ended up getting hit. So if you did decide to use that bigger stop loss, take on a little more risk, you should still be in your current long positions here on NZD USD. And I do see, right, this bullish trend to begin stair-stepping formation to the upside there. We do have some trades that are now moving into some profits here, right? AUD CAD back to the bottom of the buy zone. We have those buy limits triggered, right? We got in our long position, set in our buy limits, market falls, we buy the dip, and now we're looking at AUD CAD to finish and move into some profits next week. AUD Swiss, right? Looking like this week was just all consolidation here on AUD Swiss. We didn't really see much of a pullback at all, but we do have two of our buy limits did get triggered. So next week we'll be waiting for that break of the significant level of resistance right here, and we should be moving and securing some profits on AUD Swiss next week. AUD JPY into some little profits here. We did see a pullback in the beginning of the week. Nothing significant, but we do have all of these buy limits being triggered. So looking like green arrows are a go here also on AUD JPY for a continuation of that bullish trend. We were looking at potentially buying Euro CAD, not getting in that anymore. We're potentially looking at again Euro GBP, never entered in my buy zone. Euro NZD, still not in my buy zone yet. GBP AUD, right? This was the main winner for this week, right? So we got in a short position here, right? Market moved against us, getting into our sell zone, triggering our sell limits, and now we are still in that short position there on GA, which when we look at GA also on the monthly time frame, this is going to be a monthly wick here, right? Last month just closed out. We have a brand new month beginning here, a rejection off that monthly 200 MA. Sunday comes around, I'll be moving up some of these stop losses to break even, and we might have a potential second chance to get short here if we do get a retest of the 4-hour 200 MA. So I'll be keeping my eye on that for next week, right? If we do see some type of push to the upside, a retest of the 4-hour 200 MA, that's when I'll be looking to add some more additional weight to my short positions. I do see that GBP AUD is going to continue this bearish trend for on the monthly time frame, right? We're looking at the monthly time frame, bounce off that 200 MA. Stock indicator very over bought here, right? So that's our first early indication of a bearish trend. Red arrow is present. All we're going to be waiting now for is that absolute strength histogram lines to cross. But this was a really good indication that this bearish trend is indeed going to continue, is we're seeing divergence here on that absolute strength histogram, right? Blue line's on top. When it touches the red line and we see a rejection of that, they diverge from each other. That means that more than likely we're going to see an impulsive move of what the previous line was crossed, right? Red line's on bottom. That would indicate we're going to see an impulsive move to the downside here, looking to secure take profit 3 and 4 next week, potentially 2 weeks from now. We could see that play out, and I would maybe even be looking to add additional take profits on the GA setup there. So very nicely done on that one. NZD CAD, we were waiting for it to enter back into our sell zone and then be getting short. Week opened up and we just continued that bearish trend. So right now we would be looking for some type of pullback, a retest of the daily 200 MA, and then be looking to get short there on NZD CAD. NZD JPY, we were looking to get long in. We did actually enter in slightly into our buy zone here on NZD JPY. So potentially next week, we may be looking to see a continuation to the upside. We can take advantage of that, or, right, we'll get a rejection here. We'll move down, and then we'll see the push to the upside. So maybe a second chance, buy chance on NZD JPY next week. USD JPY, actually seeing some major bullish trend here. This is pretty rare to see happen on USD JPY. You can see it does happen, but most of the time USD JPY is a very sideways trending pair. I don't really trade it because you only can grab a couple pips off of it. but it is in my sell zone here. So I will be looking to get in a short position here on USD JPY next week. USD ZAR, wish I would have seen this one. Didn't have any alerts set on it, right? We were looking for a move up into the sell zone. We did reach to the top of the sell zone, and now we're pushing out of the sell zone, already hitting take profit 1. So next week, we'll be looking to also scale into some USD ZAR positions. So next week, we got a lot going on. I'm going to hold off on getting long on any cryptos, right? I am still long on Dash, right? Still in a little bit of drawdown here on Dash, and I am still long on Dogecoin, right? So slightly below our buy zones. These trades are still valid. Obviously, you're going to get a better risk to reward ratio by getting in long now. But I'm going to hold off until Sunday. And then when Sunday comes around, I will be looking to scale into some cryptos. I'll see what cryptos have taken off, which ones are lagging, find those laggers, and then look to scale into those. But I have, sent out a lot of these setups in their channel, so you can always check those out, right? Neo, slightly above our buy zone here, looking at a stop loss at $22. Litecoin, right, came right down to the bottom of my buy zone, 140. Looking nicely on that. Ethereum, right, came right back down to that daily 200 MA, right into my second chance buy zone, right? The first time we got in long positions on Ethereum was down here, right? We actually got long at 1780 is roughly the area we got long on Ethereum, right? We took our profits all the way at 4,000, right? We took profits scaling all the way up, took our profits at 4,000. Waiting. Now we got that second chance opportunity. 200 MA is an indicator that I have on TradingView. So it's just the moving average of the past 200 candlesticks. So if you're looking at it on the daily time frame, it's the average of the past 200 days. If you're looking at the 4-hour, past 200 4-hour candlesticks, and it draws these this black line there. This is the only MA that I really use. It's the 200 MA and the 260 MA are the only MAs that you'll ever see me talk about. They help me identify if a trend is bullish or bearish, right? We're trading above it, remains bullish. We trade below the line, that means bearish trend. It's just one part of the system. And then Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin dropped down. I was anticipating a 37.8, but we did get to, about 39,000. So not quite back down all the way, but we had bounced right out of my buy zone as well. So all of these setups were sent out, right? And you are always welcome to take them at any point in time. They're just not on my top priority. I have a lot of trades to track, a lot of accounts. So we'll see how that continues to play out. We are still long on our silver position, right? So the beginning of this week, I was anticipating either silver to make a move back up to about $23.50, or I was anticipating a pullback, test and trigger our buy limit at 21.65. So right, this one is triggered. All right, so we got that buy limit triggered right down there. It's $21.65, and now we're seeing the push up, and I would be anticipating this push to the upside to continue into next week. All right, if we break out some of this resistance, we should make this push all the way back up to, what are we looking at? $23.40 will be the next major level of resistance. If we break out of there, then we should be smashing some take profits on our silver position. Looking to potentially even add weight on that trade next week. So that's really what we got going on. I mean, we did take a couple losses this week. Losses do happen. We'll make it up in another day of trading. And yeah, are there any questions, Liam? I'm sorry that the audio is not working. I'll definitely get that figured out. And then Sunday's call will be at 6 p.m. Central Time Zone. I'll go over all of the trade setups that get sent out on Sunday. Send out a watch list on Sunday, which are trades and pairs that I'm looking to trade. And then I do host a call on Sunday at 6 p.m. We do Q&A, go over the trade setups in more depth, and then enter in trades live. So you'll be able to get an idea of how to read my trade signals and then how to actually enter them in. Yeah, so Sunday's call, hop on that one, man. Voice will be fixed, and I'll be able to answer your questions. We can communicate a bit better, and you'll be able to understand the trade signals and how to take them and how to read them. Thanks for hopping on the call. Take care. As always, may the trades be with you.